Hello, I'm CK, and welcome to my Mythic Plaguefall dungeon guide. This 4-boss dungeon is located on the east side of Maldraxxus. You can find timestamps in the description below for each boss and notable trash through the dungeon. Let's get started. The first boss is Globgrog. He has 3 main abilities, first being Plague Stomp. Plague Stomp knocks everybody back, so make sure you stay close to the boss and you're not near the slime. Second, he will turn to a random player and cast Slime Wave. So make sure you move out of this and you stay close to the boss. The cone gets larger as it ascends across the platform. His final and main ability is called Beckon Slime. He will spawn 3 slimy morsels, which are small ads, and 1 slimy smorgasbord, which is a large ad. These can be hard CC'd in any fashion, but they need to be killed or at least brought low before they reach the boss because they heal for 300% of the remaining health. Next up, we have Dr. Ickus, who has 3 main abilities. First, at 66 and 33% health, he will jump to a different platform, so make sure you clear all the platforms in the room. Next up, we have Plague Bomb. All DPS needs to focus the Plague Bomb down that he throws on the ground, and the tank needs to tank the 2 smaller ads away from the Plague Bombs because of the passive aura that causes allies to take 90% reduced damage. His final ability is called Slime Lunge, which will cause damage in the shape of a cross along the platform. Just make sure you avoid this. Also note, he will cast Slime Injection on a player, which should be dispelled by the healer as soon as it's applied. The third boss is Domina Venomblade, who has 3 main abilities. First, and main ability, is Solitary Prey. If you are away from your allies for an extended period of time, you will become webbed wrapped and your team will have to break you out. Make sure you stay stacked with your group for a majority of the fight. Her next ability is called Shadow Ambush, which is targeted on a player. You just make sure you take this just outside of the group and then quickly get back in to avoid the solitary prey. The final ability, Domina will summon Brood Assassin. These will be stealthed around the room, throwing knives. The best way that we found was to move as a group and slowly break them out, or have ranged DPS drop AoE and help bring them in. The final boss in the dungeon is Margrave Stradama, who has 3 main abilities. The first ability will summon a small slime ad that will cast a slam if not soaked and will deal a high amount of damage to everyone. Second, and most important, is Plague Crash. This will summon tentacles up in a pattern. Find the empty spot to be safe. This will kill you if you do not make it to the safe spot. Finally, and most important for the healers, is Infectious Rain. This will deal party-wide AoE damage and stack a disease on the group. Healing through or dispelling is going to be your best option. Now, let's discuss the notable trash throughout the dungeon. First off, at the start of the dungeon, you'll come across 2 paths, left or right. Always go right, never go left. We found that the left path is a lot harder to deal with than going right. Along this path, you'll encounter a decaying flesh giant. Make sure you have room before you engage him, as he constantly throws out toxic pools, forcing you to kite. Along the right path, you'll find the Fungi Stormer, who is probably the most dangerous mob, as they cast Fungus Storm, a high damage spell that can only be stunned by using crowd control. No matter what way you go, watch out for the Plague Rocks in the middle. These are especially nasty due to their wing buffing, frontal ability, knocking back any player who's hit, and possibly into more trash. After the first section, you'll end up at a platform with a ton of small slimes. Don't pull too many of these, as each gushing slime pulses AoE damage every second that you're within 10 yards. More slimes equals more damage. However, if you do have a full range group, your tank may be able to grab all of them and then kite. Gushing slimes start with a passive called Slime Coated. Use Purge or Arcane Torrent to remove this passive if possible. Otherwise, when they die, watch out for the pool they leave behind. Once you clear the slimes, there will be 2 Plague Belchers. Plague Belchers cast Belch Plague in a cone in a random direction. This should be dodged, and they also cast Beckon Slime, just like the boss that we talked about earlier. The next trash mob you'll encounter is the Unstable Canister, which you'll find between the first and second boss. Once the Unstable Canisters reach 0 health, it will start a 5-second cast of Violent Detonation. Violent Detonation deals damage to enemies as well as allies standing in the area, and apply a hard-hitting dot. The tank should try to position mobs inside of the detonation to help kill them faster. Please note, this does apply the AoE cap of 5 targets. The next mob you'll encounter is the Blighted Spinebreaker, who casts a hard-hitting frontal cone. You just want to make sure you dodge this. When the Spinebreaker dies, it will spawn a bunch of small oozes. Kill them before they can get off Metamorphosis. You can kill these instantly just by stepping on them, but you will take a small amount of damage. There is a small gauntlet to run between the first and second boss, which will constantly spawn rigged plague warriors that will run towards the group. These have a bomb strapped to their back and will explode when the timer runs out, just like the unstable canisters we just talked about. Hidden underneath of the slime are slime tentacles. They won't pop out or aggro unless someone gets too close. We did find in beta that this area was unskippable towards the end of testing. Once you make it to the end of the gauntlet, kill the Blightweaver to end the gauntlet and head on to the next boss. The next notable trash mob are the Brood Ambushers you'll find on your way to the third boss. These will cast enveloping webbing, rooting any nearby player, but not actually doing any damage. The more deadly spell is Stealthlings. These will summon many small adds that will jump onto a player after a 10-second cast called Ambush. If the ambush gets off, it will probably kill whoever they ambush, as there are a lot of these. In order to combat this, as soon as they spawn, just have your ranged DPS start doing massive AoE on top of them. They can also be stunned. The final notable trash mob is the Plague-bound Devoted. These will walk very slowly, but they melee very hard, so tanks should grab aggro on them and then just kite as your ranged DPS takes care of them. I hope you found this guide helpful. If you're interested in more, I will be posting all mythic dungeons and raid encounters on this channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you never miss when a video goes live. Leave me a comment below letting me know how I could further improve these videos for future content. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.